Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the biggest stars of musical theatre, and we've got two of them for you today. The stars of Wicked on tour across the UK. Amy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And Helen, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
You two, firstly, are delicious. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's like the killer blow, really, isn't it? When you're this talented, have that great a voice, and you're beautiful, it's everything.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
When the phone rings and they say, we want you to play two of the most iconic, beautiful, perfect roles in show business, you must pinch yourself and go, you've got the wrong number. It's incredible, isn't it?
I actually had to get my agent to ring me back. I said, can you ring me back in about 5 hours? Because I just need to digest this and check that it's real.
Yeah, I thought surely there's got to be a casting mistake. They must have just rung the wrong Helen, I'm sure. But alas, here we are.
And for you, I mean, this is really all you've ever done. You've only ever been in show business and mostly only ever played this role.
I know, very lucky. Yeah, I think the thing is with these two roles, you know, you're part of such a small family of people that have been fortunate enough to play these parts, and just, you know, consider ourselves so lucky that we're part of, you know, this incredible
Absolutely.
show. Yeah.
This show looks beautiful on the road, and what's incredible, they haven't cut a penny anywhere, have they? I mean, they've spent a ton of money on the costumes, the set, the lighting. It's as good as Broadway.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what's wonderful about this tour is the show is exactly as it is in town. You know, they're not cutting things. And I think what a few people have said is they like the intimacy of, because Bristol's a lovely size, and also where we just were in Zurich, the theatre wasn't huge, was it?
Yeah.
So it just gets people that bit closer to the story, and I think people like that.
Is it strange when you sign away 2 years of your life to do the same thing 8 times a week? It's a bizarre job you've got, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it comes with its challenges, but, you know, the fortunate thing about being on tour is that you sort of become a family. You know, this is our family at the minute because, you know, we spend so much time together, and it's lovely. And I think it creates such a strong bond between all of us in the cast and crew and everyone behind the scenes.
I think the other benefit of touring is changing theatres does actually keep the show fresh,
Right.
because even though you're putting on the same show each night, there's subtle differences.
Yeah, like you'll be looking for your monitors and they're in different places, and
Right.
your sight lines change and everything.
And actually audience reactions are very different with each place we go, don't you
Yeah.
find? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
people respond differently, so keeps it fresh.
I can't imagine a more exciting role when we look at you, Amy, and what you have to do. And again, we said earlier about not mentioning the big moment. I think enough people have seen this to say the defying gravity moment is
Yes.
one of the killer moments in
Yeah.
musical history, and you get to do it 8 times a week. Do you go into that song excited or fearful because it gets bigger and bigger and bigger? And if you miss it, if you get it wrong, it's kind of going to fizzle out the first half, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not that I'm trying to put pressure.
No, I think rather than kind of see it as a big pressure and a weight on your shoulders, I prefer to look at it in a positive way and go out there each night remembering how lucky I am. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy. And what's lovely about that moment is I'm on stage with Helen for the first kind of 5 minutes before it kind of really gets going, and the way we bounce off each other is lovely, and we kind of gear each other up to it, and actually I love it. It's so exciting.
And again, you bounce off each other so beautifully, and I'm a deeply unattractive man, as you both worked out. and really, I suppose Elphaba and I have a lot in common in a way, because we want to just be accepted like beautiful people. Not that I'm saying you're ugly too, Amy. That's the moral of the story, let's face it.
Listen, what's wonderful about Elphaba is she's green, she's different, but she never apologises for that, and the message she sends out there is to always be true to yourself. Always stay true to yourself. It doesn't matter if you're different, just stay true, and I think that's a wonderful message.
Yes, I mean, being green or ginger, it's the same thing, really, isn't it? To be honest.
green and ginger.
You get to wear these beautiful frocks and basically be pretty for 2.5 hours.
She does. She looks amazing, don't you, Helen?
I am very lucky. I do. You know, people that come and watch the show or friends and family come in and they're like, "What's your favourite costume?" I'm like, all of them. They're just, you know, absolutely fantastic, and you can't help but literally feel $1 million the second you put them on. And our wardrobe department and everyone here that look after them so well. I mean, the hours and the manpower behind this show is just incredible, and I don't think they're ever really given enough credit, and it is credit to them that we look the way we do.
And what I find amazing is these costumes are so lavish and incredible, yet they still work so hard to make them comfortable, and I genuinely mean that. You know,
And the team behind you that make this show work is extraordinary. I mean, it is probably one of the most complicated shows on tour. It never stops moving. It's beautifully lit, sensational sound and all that. I always sit there marveling at the stuff that we don't see. I mean, what you guys do is obvious, but to make you guys shine, there's a ton of people working behind you.
Yeah, like 100 people, I think, of a night back here. When you with the dressers and the crew and everything, and it is like it's a finely tuned machine.
There's as much choreography off stage, isn't there, as there is
absolutely, because
genuinely.
you're ducking set that's flying in, and sort of everyone's just got their own routine, and it's amazing how quickly they can make that happen.
I don't think there's two roles that have had more icons come from these two roles. When we look right back at the beginning on Broadway, I mean, we needn't even talk about them. They're megastars in their own right. But whether it be Kerry Ellis or Rachel or any of the other people that have played these parts, it's amazing how it gives you a platform. And even you two already, the interest in you is extraordinary. Has that become normal? Because most people in the West End, let's face it, are anonymous. They come on, they do their bit and they go home. You can't escape. They're waiting for you at the door because they want to meet you. It's incredible.
I think it's again, just going back to, we're just so fortunate, and actually that's probably one of my favourite parts of doing this show, is getting to meet the people at stage door, and young people that are in drama training, and they're just trying to find out a bit more about you and how our journeys happened, and that's really special that we get to do that every night.
I spoke to a boy the other day, and he actually said to me, he's been to see the show a couple of times, and he said, you've, not me personally, but the character Elphaba, it's made me stand up to bullies, and that it just broke my heart, and that's, it's lovely to talk to people at stage door when they're telling you things like that. It's just wonderful.
And again, for those who don't know, it is a story about the girl who gets the guy, and then the other girl who wants the guy, and the guy wants the girl but can't have the girl because the guy needs to be with a cooler girl, but in the end the guy gets the girl. I think I've summed it up.
Yeah. What we love about it most, though, is that the main core of the show is the relationship between the two friends, and
they start off the most unlikely of friends. Right. I think that's the most interesting thing.
Thrown together,
literally thrown together. Neither of them would want to share any personal space with each other, and within seconds we're sort of heading down that route, and they end up the sort of best of friends, and have absolutely changed each other's lives for good, and that's the main moral of the story, really.
And we should give credit and kudos to Stephen Schwartz, who wrote this. I mean, the music is beautiful. You couldn't just get away with a beautiful show with beautiful actresses, with beautiful costumes, and then rubbish music. I mean, every song is a hit, isn't it?
Oh, they're epic. It's just the not only the tunes are memorable, but the underscoring, the sound that we get from the orchestra is so exciting.
And the way it sort of seamlessly, you go from speaking into singing, and people don't even, you don't realise that transition's happened.
Right.
And that's what's so magical about this show in particular, the way that
it's not
you
clunky at all, is it?
No,
I remember going to We Will Rock You once, and they said, how are we going to get there? And then they started singing Bicycle, and you go, I think Ben Elton could do slightly better than that. There's none of those moments where you laugh sort of at it. You're only ever laughing with it.
Pure class.
Yeah.
And then I've got to ask you the question I ask all the Elphabas and Glindas. How exhausted are you come Saturday night when you've done this 8 times? This is not a show you can phone in, and it's certainly not a show you can walk through, especially for you at the end of Act 1.
It is exhausting, but I think, again, it would be wrong if it wasn't, and you kind of have to see it as a positive and go, I'm exhausted because I've got an incredible job, and it would be awful if you were exhausted and you hated what you did.
Yeah.
We love what we do.
Embrace the fatigue. That's what I would say.
It keeps us fit.
Yeah. And we do have a certain amount of stamina, and that comes with time. Right. But for sure, by Saturday night, I'm definitely ready for bed.
A bed.
And again, being pathologically cheerful sometimes can be more difficult than being grumpy or a nasty character. I mean, smiling through a whole show is tough, isn't it? Having that sort of popular outlook on life.
I tell you what, people always say that to me, and I think sometimes, you do come into work and think, I've got 8 shows of this week, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. But the wonderful world that we are in instantly makes you smile. From the second that I put that frock on, I'm in a good mood, and you can't help it. It's just magical.
And by the end, I mean, the audience are so on your side, they're so in love with you both, and it all comes good in the end, as the song says. I guess when you get that ovation at the end, I don't think I've ever seen this without a standing ovation. There isn't going to be a better moment in an actress's career than to see people loving you en masse and knowing that you're in a big hit. I guess for you, this is a great time in your lives.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Very
absolutely.
lucky.
And I genuinely mean this. I'm not just saying it for public purposes, but Helen and I get on so well in real life. So it's lovely to be with her on stage every night and do that every night and tell that wonderful story and see everyone appreciate it so much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and like we were saying earlier about bowing together, we walk through holding hands and take that final moment together, which is just so great.
And finally, what's the fuss about Aaron Sidwell? I don't see it myself. I don't know why they didn't cast me. I mean, what's he got that I haven't, Amy?
Tattoos?
Tell us
about tattoos. I don't know.
Well, I've got one, but we don't talk about that. There's a stag do in Benidorm. It's totally inappropriate.
Aaron's fabulous. He's really great to work with, and he I think there was a sort of an assumption that because his last job was on the telly, that's all he's done. But he's got a wonderful theatre background, and he's great to work with on and off stage. He's a great company member, and we get on really well. So we're very lucky.
And he gets both the girls every night. What a lucky guy.
He does.
Everyone, doesn't he? Really?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful show, if not the most beautiful show on earth. I've never known anybody walk out this without being uplifted and also feeling something, because that's the great thing about the writing of this. It has got purpose. It's not just nonsense.
No, absolutely. And I love sometimes when we come out of stage door and you hear people sort of, I really enjoyed that bit, and they're going away singing a bit of the music, and that's really special. That's really special.
And the moral is, Amy, of course, even ugly people can end up happy.
Stop it.
It's true.
You're not. You're handsome.
Amy, Helen, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.